As Nigerians head to the polls on Saturday, the sheer magnitude of the election and deepening democracy on the continent is not lost on the international community. That's according to the chief observer of the EU Election Observation Mission to Nigeria, Mr. Barry Andrews, during a courtesy visit to the chairman of Channels Media Group, Dr. John Momo, at Channels Television's global headquarters in Lagos. On the sidelines of the visit, Mr. Andrews spoke about his initial reading of the nation's pre-election mood as some of the global best practices to be used in benchmarking the poll.
The scale of it is quite extraordinary, with 175,000 polling units. Understand that there are 800,000 polling staff, 1.5 million people who are designated polling agents by the parties. So it's a scale that's quite extraordinary, and it is important to Nigeria, but it's also important to the region, and it's important for deepening the roots of democracy across Africa. And that's why the European Union really has invested in this program, not just for this election, but for previous elections. This is the 7th time that the European Union has deployed an election observation mission to Nigeria. I think there's a shared anxiety that there's a peaceful election. That's the one message that we get from participants. They want to see a peaceful election. Obviously, they want it to go well from a technical point of view with the new technology that's emerging. There's also a sense that this has been quite a long campaign. Under the Electoral Act, the primaries have to take place much longer before the election day itself than had previously been the case. And so I think there's an anxiety to get to the finish line as well, which is natural for people who are taking part. Essentially, we look at the inclusivity, the transparency, and the credibility of the election. The moving parts in this election, everybody's familiar with, around INEC and making sure the judiciary play their role, around the new technology, and of course around security. And the issue around Naira has also been a factor in this election. So we're trying to figure out all of those moving parts. And while we won't validate the election or decide yes or no, we will give a general picture, and people can draw the conclusions from that.